Welcome back to the audio bookshelf. We hope you enjoy the book, and please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to get our latest content. Please enjoy. Win It All, Talk to the Universe. Presented by Theo E. David from the audio bookshelf. Chapter 1, The Power of Intention. The idea that thoughts shape reality is not new. Ancient philosophies, modern psychology, and countless books on self-improvement echo the same truth: the universe reflects back what you put into it. But for most people, this concept remains a theory, an abstract idea tucked away in a corner of their minds. For Ethan Miller, it became his lifeline. Ethan wasn't always the confident, successful man people saw today. A year ago, he was barely getting by. His apartment was small, his job was uninspiring, and his goals felt like distant stars he could never reach. Every day was a repetition of the last: wake up, go to work, come home, and distract himself from the emptiness gnawing at his spirit. It wasn't until his friend Mia handed him a small, unassuming book at a coffee shop one rainy afternoon that things began to change. The cover read, "Manifesting Your Best Life, a Guide to Harnessing the Universe's Energy." Ethan raised an eyebrow, skeptical. Is this one of those feel-good, wish your way to happiness kind of books? Mia smiled knowingly. It's more than that. Just read the first chapter. What do you have to lose? With nothing better to do, Ethan opened the book that evening. The first chapter posed a simple yet profound question: what if your thoughts are conversations with the universe? He paused, rereading the sentence. It seemed ridiculous, yet something about it tugged at him. The book went on to describe the law of intention, the principle that focused energy and deliberate thought could influence the outcomes in one's life. You don't just hope, it said. You decide. You visualize. You act. For the first time in years, Ethan felt a spark of curiosity. That night, he decided to test it. He didn't aim for something grand, just a small, manageable intention. Tomorrow, I will find a sign that things can change for the better, he said aloud before falling asleep. The next day, he went through his routine as usual, half forgetting about his experiment. But as he walked home, something caught his eye: a sticky note on a lamppost. In bold letters, it read, "Believe in your power to change. Your time is now." Ethan froze, staring at the note. Was it a coincidence? Maybe. But the timing was uncanny, and the words struck a chord deep within him. Over the following weeks, Ethan began setting more intentions, each one slightly bigger than the last. I will find clarity about my career. I will connect with someone who inspires me. I will make progress toward financial freedom. But it wasn't just about setting intentions. The book had emphasized action, and Ethan took it to heart. He updated his resume, started networking, and committed to saving a portion of his income each week. Small shifts began to occur. A colleague mentioned a job opening at a company Ethan had always admired. A stranger at a bookstore recommended a podcast that sparked new ideas. Slowly but surely, the universe seemed to respond. Ethan learned that intention was not magic, it was a partnership. It required clarity, focus, and effort. The clearer he became about what he wanted and the more aligned his actions were with those desires, the more the universe seemed to work in his favor. By the end of the year, Ethan's life was unrecognizable. He had a new job that excited him, a growing network of supportive people, and a sense of purpose he had never felt before. But most importantly, he had transformed his mindset. The universe, he realized, was always listening. The question was, what was he saying? Chapter 2, Rewriting the Script. The first step to changing your life is understanding the story you've been telling yourself. For years, Ethan's internal script was full of limitations. I'm not good enough, things never work out for me, I don't deserve success. These weren't just passing thoughts, they were beliefs deeply ingrained in his subconscious, shaping his decisions and actions without him even realizing it. The book had another lesson: your thoughts are the seeds of your reality. Plant wisely. Ethan began paying attention to his inner dialogue. He noticed how often he defaulted to negativity or doubt. "I can't afford that," he'd think when he saw something he wanted. "I'm probably not qualified," he'd say to himself when he came across an exciting opportunity. These automatic responses were barriers, keeping him stuck in the same place. But just as a story can be rewritten, so could his beliefs. He started small. Every time a limiting thought surfaced, he countered it with a more empowering one. "I can't afford that" became "How can I afford that?" "I'm probably not qualified" turned into "I'm willing to learn what it takes." At first, it felt awkward, like trying to speak a new language. But the more he practiced, the more natural it became. And as his mindset shifted, so did his reality. One morning, Ethan decided to write down his new story, not the one he had been living, but the one he wanted to create. He grabbed a notebook and began with these words: "I am capable. I am deserving. I am ready." He wrote about the life he envisioned in vivid detail, a career he was passionate about, financial stability, meaningful relationships, and a deep sense of fulfillment. He didn't just list these goals, he described how they felt. The excitement of waking up to work he loved. The peace of knowing he was financially secure. The joy of being surrounded by people who uplifted him. Every morning, Ethan read what he had written. Some days, it felt like a distant dream, but he kept going. The book had taught him an important principle: you don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. To become the person in his story, Ethan started aligning his habits and choices with that vision. He took courses to improve his skills, practiced gratitude to shift his focus from scarcity to abundance, and sought out mentors who could guide him. One of the most profound changes came when he stopped comparing himself to others. Social media had been a constant reminder of what he lacked: friends with glamorous vacations, colleagues with impressive promotions, influencers flaunting lifestyles he could only dream of. But Ethan realized that comparison was a thief, robbing him of joy and progress. Instead of scrolling aimlessly, he used his time to learn and grow. He read books on personal development, listened to podcasts about success, and attended workshops to expand his knowledge. Slowly, he stopped envying others and started celebrating his own small wins. As Ethan rewrote his internal script, the universe seemed to rewrite its response to him. Opportunities began to appear, not always in the way he expected, but always at the right time. A chance meeting at a networking event led to a freelance project that eventually turned into a full-time job. A recommendation from a friend connected him to a financial advisor who helped him create a plan to pay off debt. The changes weren't instant, but they were undeniable. By focusing on who he wanted to become and taking consistent action, Ethan realized he wasn't just changing his life, he was transforming his identity. The story you tell yourself, Ethan discovered, is the foundation of everything you achieve. And when you rewrite that story with intention and belief, the universe begins to align with your vision. Chapter 3: The Art of Letting Go. As Ethan's journey progressed, he learned another crucial lesson: sometimes, to move forward, you have to let go. For years, Ethan clung to habits, relationships, and even goals that no longer served him. He didn't realize how much they weighed him down until he started asking himself a simple yet profound question: what am I holding onto that is holding me back? The first thing that came to mind was his fear of failure. Ethan had always been cautious, avoiding risks and staying within the boundaries of what felt safe. But he realized that this fear wasn't protecting him, it was limiting him. He began to challenge his fear by taking small risks. He started speaking up more at work, sharing ideas he would have kept to himself before. Some of those ideas were dismissed, but a few gained attention and even praise. Each step out of his comfort zone chipped away at the fear, and he began to see failure not as an end, but as a stepping stone to success. Next, Ethan examined his relationships. There were people in his life who constantly drained his energy, who doubted his dreams, or who simply didn't align with the person he was becoming. Letting go of these relationships wasn't easy. It meant setting boundaries, having uncomfortable conversations, and sometimes walking away. But as he created space by letting go of what no longer served him, new, supportive connections began to form. He found himself surrounded by people who inspired him, challenged him to grow, and celebrated his victories, no matter how small. Letting go wasn't just about people. It was also about outdated goals. Ethan realized that some of the things he once wanted no longer aligned with his values or vision. He had spent years chasing certain milestones because he thought he should: a certain salary, a specific job title, a lifestyle that looked good on the outside but didn't feel right on the inside. When he gave himself permission to let go of those shoulds, he felt a sense of freedom he hadn't experienced in years. For the first time, he allowed himself to dream authentically, focusing on what truly mattered to him. The book had a powerful reminder: when you release what no longer serves you, you make room for what does. One day, as Ethan reflected on everything he had let go of, he wrote down a mantra that became his guiding principle: I release what holds me back and welcome what moves me forward. Chapter 4: The Universe Rewards Action. Visualization and intention are powerful, but Ethan quickly learned they were only part of the equation. The universe doesn't hand you success on a silver platter, it rewards action. For years, Ethan had been stuck in a cycle of wishing for change without taking meaningful steps to create it. He wanted better health but didn't change his eating habits. He wanted financial freedom but avoided creating a budget. He wanted a fulfilling career but never applied for jobs that scared him. One line from the book stood out to him: you can't just ask the universe for the harvest, you have to plant the seeds and tend the soil. Ethan began to take action, even when it was uncomfortable or inconvenient. He joined a gym and committed to going 3 times a week, no excuses. At first, it felt like a chore, but over time, he started to enjoy the process. He felt stronger, more energetic, and proud of his consistency. Financially, he set up automatic transfers to a savings account, started tracking his spending, and educated himself about investing. The small steps added up, and within months, he saw progress that had once felt impossible. In his career, Ethan embraced the philosophy of done is better than perfect. He stopped waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect qualifications and started applying for roles that excited him. One application led to an interview, which led to an offer. But the biggest lesson came when he realized that action wasn't just about doing, it was about doing with intention. Every step he took was aligned with his vision of the life he wanted to create. Ethan's favorite part of the process was celebrating small wins. Each time he achieved a goal, no matter how minor, he acknowledged it. Whether it was completing a project, saving an extra $50, or even waking up early to meditate, he treated every step forward as proof that he was capable of achieving more. The universe, it seemed, responded to his efforts by opening new doors. Ethan learned that while the universe listens to your desires, it acts on your determination. Chapter 5: Gratitude Amplifies Abundance. Ethan's journey took a transformative turn when he discovered the power of gratitude. The book described gratitude as a multiplier, an energy that attracts more of what you appreciate into your life. At first, Ethan thought gratitude was just about saying thank you for the big things: family, friends, health. But as he delved deeper, he realized it was about finding joy in the small moments: the warmth of the sun on his face, the taste of his morning coffee, the smile of a stranger. Every evening, Ethan wrote down 3 things he was grateful for that day. Some days it was easy, like when he received good news or accomplished a goal. Other days, it was harder, especially when things didn't go as planned. But even on those challenging days, he found something to appreciate: a lesson learned, a moment of peace, or simply the strength to keep going. Gratitude shifted Ethan's perspective. Instead of focusing on what he lacked, he began to see how much he already had. This shift didn't just make him happier, it made him more resilient. Challenges that once felt overwhelming became opportunities to grow. The more grateful Ethan became, the more abundance he noticed in his life. Opportunities seemed to come more easily, relationships deepened, and he found himself surrounded by positivity. Gratitude, he realized, wasn't just a practice, it was a mindset. And as he embraced it fully, his life began to overflow with the very things he had once longed for. Chapter 6: Overcoming Resistance. As Ethan continued to reshape his life, he encountered an obstacle that was both familiar and insidious: resistance. It showed up in many forms: procrastination, self-doubt, fear of judgment, and even sudden distractions that pulled him away from his goals. The book had warned about this. Resistance isn't a sign to stop, it's a signal that you're growing. Ethan began to recognize resistance for what it was: a natural part of the process. It wasn't there to defeat him, but to test his commitment. With this new understanding, he developed strategies to overcome it. One of the most effective tools he discovered was the 5-minute rule. When resistance made a task feel daunting, Ethan told himself, just work on it for 5 minutes. Often, starting was the hardest part. But once he began, momentum carried him through. Another breakthrough came when he realized the importance of his environment. Cluttered spaces, constant notifications, and unsupportive people all fed resistance. Ethan made it a priority to create an environment that fueled his focus and motivation. He decluttered his apartment, set clear boundaries around his time, and curated his social media to inspire rather than distract him. Resistance also appeared in the form of self-doubt. "Who am I to think I can achieve this?" the voice in his head would say. But instead of fighting it, Ethan leaned into curiosity. He asked himself, what if I can? What would that look like? This shift in mindset turned doubt into possibility, and possibility into action. Ethan learned to embrace imperfection. He stopped waiting for the perfect conditions or perfect results and focused instead on progress. Every step forward, no matter how small, was a victory over resistance. Chapter 7: The Power of Connection. As Ethan's life transformed, he realized he wasn't meant to walk this journey alone. The book had a chapter dedicated to the importance of connection, emphasizing that the energy of the people around you can either elevate or drain you. Ethan began seeking out individuals who shared his values and vision. He joined online communities, attended workshops, and reconnected with old friends who inspired him. The energy in these spaces was contagious. Hearing others share their stories of growth and success motivated Ethan to keep pushing forward. One of the most profound connections he made was with a mentor named Victor, a successful entrepreneur he met at a networking event. Victor shared his own journey, which was full of struggles and failures before he achieved success. "The key," Victor said, "is to keep showing up. You'll never succeed if you give up before the miracle happens." Victor's guidance helped Ethan navigate challenges with more confidence. Whenever Ethan felt stuck, Victor reminded him to focus on the process rather than the outcome. "Success isn't a destination," he said. "It's a series of decisions you make every day." Ethan also became a source of inspiration for others. As he shared his journey, he found that his story resonated with people who were struggling to make changes in their own lives. By lifting others, he discovered a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. Chapter 8: Aligning with Purpose. As Ethan grew, his focus shifted from achieving external goals to aligning with his purpose. The book described purpose as the why behind your intentions, the deeper reason that drives your actions. Ethan asked himself questions he had never considered before. What impact do I want to make? What brings me joy? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? The answers weren't immediate, but over time, patterns emerged. Ethan realized that his purpose wasn't just about personal success, it was about growth, connection, and helping others realize their potential. This clarity changed the way Ethan approached his goals. He no longer chased achievements for the sake of validation. Instead, he pursued what felt meaningful and fulfilling. One of the most significant shifts came in his career. Ethan had once been focused solely on climbing the corporate ladder, but now he felt called to do something more impactful. He began volunteering with a local mentorship program, helping young adults develop the skills and confidence to pursue their dreams. The work ignited a passion he didn't know he had. It wasn't long before Ethan started considering how he could turn this passion into a full-time endeavor. With careful planning and a leap of faith, he eventually launched his own coaching business, combining his experiences and lessons into a program designed to empower others. Chapter 9: The Feedback Loop of Growth. As Ethan continued to evolve, he noticed a powerful feedback loop at play. Growth led to confidence, confidence led to action, and action led to more growth. But growth wasn't always linear. There were setbacks, moments of doubt, and days when it felt like progress had stalled. Yet, Ethan had learned to embrace these moments as part of the journey. The book had reminded him, setbacks aren't failures, they're feedback. Each challenge was an opportunity to learn, adjust, and move forward stronger than before. Ethan began journaling his experiences, tracking not just his successes, but also the lessons he learned from difficulties. Over time, this practice revealed how far he had come. What once seemed impossible had become his new normal. He also started celebrating his wins more intentionally. Whether it was treating himself to a nice dinner or simply taking a moment to reflect, he acknowledged his progress and expressed gratitude for how far he had come. Chapter 10: Living in Alignment. Ethan's life looked vastly different from where he had started. He wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. But more importantly, he was living in alignment with his true self. The universe had responded to his intentions, actions, and growth in ways that felt almost magical. But Ethan knew the truth. He had co-created his reality by showing up consistently, staying focused on his purpose, and embracing the journey with faith and resilience. Looking back, Ethan realized that the most powerful transformation wasn't in his external circumstances, it was within himself. He had become the kind of person who believed in his ability to create the life he wanted, who embraced challenges as opportunities, and who inspired others to do the same. And in doing so, he had learned the most important lesson of all: when you talk to the universe with clarity, belief, and action, it doesn't just listen, it answers. Chapter 11: The Energy You Give, the Energy You Receive. Ethan began to notice a profound principle at work in his life. The energy you put out into the world determines the energy you receive in return. When Ethan operated from a place of doubt, fear, or negativity, his experiences seemed to mirror those emotions. Obstacles felt larger, opportunities seemed scarce, and his energy drained quickly. But when he acted with positivity, confidence, and an open heart, the world seemed to respond in kind. To amplify this shift, Ethan committed to starting each day with intention. He began a morning ritual that included meditation, visualization, and affirmations. As he sat in the quiet stillness of dawn, he would ask himself, "What energy do I want to bring to the world today?" He imagined himself moving through the day with purpose, calm, and gratitude. He visualized positive interactions, productive work, and the sense of fulfillment that came from showing up as his best self. Ethan also started being more mindful of the energy he gave to others. Instead of reacting with frustration or impatience, he practiced kindness and understanding. Whether it was offering a smile to a stranger, genuinely listening to a colleague, or simply saying thank you with sincerity, he found that small gestures had a ripple effect. One day, after helping a coworker with a project, she said, "You always have such a great attitude. It's contagious." Ethan smiled, realizing that the energy he was giving was coming back to him in ways he hadn't even anticipated. This shift wasn't just about others, it was also about how he treated himself. Ethan stopped criticizing himself for mistakes and started speaking to himself with compassion and encouragement. The more he valued himself, the more he felt worthy of the opportunities and abundance the universe had to offer. The lesson was clear: your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. Chapter 12: Trusting the Process. As Ethan's journey unfolded, there were moments when doubt crept back in. Goals took longer to achieve than expected, and the path forward wasn't always clear. But instead of succumbing to frustration, Ethan leaned into trust. The book had emphasized the importance of patience. The universe works in its own time, not yours. Trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Ethan adopted a mindset of surrender, not giving up, but letting go of the need to control every detail. He focused on what he could do in the present moment and allowed the rest to unfold naturally. One of the most profound lessons came during a period when his coaching business wasn't growing as quickly as he had hoped. Clients were sporadic, and self-doubt began whispering, "What if this doesn't work?" Instead of panicking, Ethan returned to his journal. He wrote down the reasons he had started this journey and the impact he wanted to make. He reminded himself of the progress he had already achieved and the people he had helped. He also reached out to his mentor, Victor, who offered simple but powerful advice: keep showing up. The seeds you're planting now will bloom when the time is right. Ethan took the advice to heart. He continued refining his skills, connecting with new people, and sharing his story. Slowly but surely, the momentum returned. Clients began referring others, opportunities appeared seemingly out of nowhere, and his confidence grew stronger than ever. Trusting the process didn't mean sitting back and waiting, it meant staying committed, even when the results weren't immediate. Ethan learned that faith, combined with action, was a powerful force. Chapter 13: The Infinite Potential Within You. Ethan's journey led him to a deeper understanding of himself and the world around him. He realized that the universe wasn't just something outside of him, it was also within him. The book's final chapters described a profound truth: you are not separate from the universe, you are a part of it. The energy that creates stars, fuels life, and shapes reality is the same energy that flows through you. This realization shifted Ethan's perspective in profound ways. He stopped seeing his goals as something to chase and started viewing them as something to align with. He wasn't trying to get success, abundance, or happiness, he was learning to embody those qualities. Ethan began practicing mindfulness and meditation more deeply, not just as tools for relaxation but as ways to connect with his inner self. He noticed that when his mind was calm and focused, his intuition became stronger. Decisions that once felt overwhelming now felt clear. The more he aligned with his true self, the more effortlessly things seemed to fall into place. Opportunities that matched his values appeared at just the right time. Challenges became less about struggle and more about growth. Ethan also started sharing this philosophy with others, encouraging them to tap into their own infinite potential. He reminded them that they didn't need to be perfect or have everything figured out, they just needed to start. Chapter 14: The Journey Never Ends. Ethan had come a long way from the man who once felt stuck and uninspired. But as he reflected on his journey, he realized there was no finish line. Personal growth wasn't a destination, it was a lifelong process. Each day brought new lessons, challenges, and opportunities. And with each step forward, Ethan felt more aligned with the person he was meant to be. The most important lesson Ethan had learned was this: the universe doesn't just respond to your intentions, it grows with you. Every thought, action, and belief was a conversation with the universe, shaping not only his external reality but also his inner world. And as he continued to grow, he understood that the possibilities were limitless. Ethan smiled as he wrote in his journal one evening, reflecting on the journey so far. There was still so much to explore, so much to create, so much to become. And for the first time, he didn't feel overwhelmed by the unknown, he felt excited. The universe was listening. And so was Ethan. Thanks for listening, and please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and also click the small bell icon to receive a notification every time a new free audiobook has arrived. Thanks again.